Chosen one, I am speaking directly to you now, not to the curious, not to the distracted, not to those who clicked by accident. This is for you. This is a message from God, and it has reached you in perfect divine alignment. Not early, not late. Exactly when your spirit was ready. You are not here because of chance, habit, or coincidence. You are here because something within you recognized truth before your mind had words for it. That recognition is not imagination. It is memory. It is awakening. It is the echo of a divine calling that has been active in your life longer than you realize. I want you to understand this calmly and clearly. You were not randomly chosen. You were prepared. Long before you understood the language of spiritual awakening, your life was already being shaped by it. The questions you asked that others didn't, the discomfort you felt in places where everyone else seemed fine, the sense that there was more happening beneath the surface of life than what you were being shown. Those were not personality traits. Those were signals, quiet ones, intentional ones, signals reserved for the chosen one. As an elder who has watched this pattern repeat across generations, I can tell you something with certainty. God's most important messages are rarely loud. Divine communication is not always thunder and fire. More often, it is stillness. A pause, a knowing that doesn't ask for permission. The world teaches you to look for noise, proof, and drama. God teaches you to listen. That is why spiritual discernment is so rare, and why you have always felt slightly out of place in a world addicted to distraction. You may have doubted yourself because the signal wasn't dramatic enough. You may have wondered why your divine calling didn't come with applause or clear instructions written across the sky. But that doubt was never evidence of absence. It was evidence of refinement. Chosen awareness develops quietly because it must be stable. Loud faith collapses under pressure. Quiet faith endures wars you never speak about. Yes, I said war, because the war is real. It is not always visible, but it is constant. A war for attention, a war for identity, a war to dim the light of those who carry it naturally. You have felt this, the unexplained exhaustion, the resistance when you step closer to truth, the subtle pushback whenever you try to live more honestly, more aligned, more awake. That is not coincidence either. Light is noticed long before it is understood. Your spiritual awakening did not begin the moment you learned spiritual language. It began the first time you sensed that something was off, even when everything looked fine. It began when you felt called to integrity instead of comfort. When silence taught you more than crowds ever could. Divine calling often feels like isolation before it feels like purpose. That is by design. Noise cannot teach you discernment. Only stillness can. Listen to me carefully now. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not imagining the pull you feel toward meaning, truth, and depth. This message from God is not here to excite you. It is here to steady you, to remind you that your awareness is not accidental, that your sensitivity is not weakness, that your quiet strength is not invisible in the spiritual realm, even if it has been overlooked in the physical one. Chosen one, your life has been shaped by subtle guidance because your role requires precision. You were built to notice what others dismiss, to hear what others overlook, to pause where others rush. That is not delay, that is alignment. Divine communication trusts you with whispers because you have proven you can carry them without distortion. If you have ever felt like you were standing between worlds, not fully belonging to the old, but not yet revealed in the new, understand this, that tension is the threshold of awakening. The war you feel is not against you, it is around you, and your light is not optional in this time. It is necessary, so take a breath. Ground yourself in this truth. This is a message from God, and it reached you because you were meant reminding, not convincing. You were called, not chased. You were chosen, not lucky. And if this touched your soul, comment 111, because you know it now without needing proof. You were called. Why God? Its most important signals are quiet. Chosen one, let us return to the beginning, because repetition is how truth anchors itself. This is a message from God. You are not imagining what you feel. You were called. And the fact that you are still here, still listening, already proves something important. God did not need to shout to reach you. He only needed you to be awake enough to listen. Most people believe that if God were truly speaking, it would be loud, dramatic, undeniable. They expect thunder, miracles on display, visible signs that leave no room for doubt. But that belief itself is evidence of spiritual sleep. Loud signs are not meant for the awakened. Loud signs are meant for those who cannot hear anything unless it disrupts their comfort. Divine calling does not rely on chaos. Divine communication does not compete with noise. God does not beg for attention. He speaks where there is space to receive. The chosen one learns this early, often without words. You learn that silence carries information, that pauses reveal truth, that what is not said is sometimes more powerful than what is shouted. This sensitivity was not accidental. It was cultivated. Long before you knew the term spiritual awakening, your spirit was already responding to subtle shifts. A change in a room's energy, a feeling you could not explain, but could not ignore. An inner nudge that said stop, or go, or wait, even when logic disagreed. This is because quiet signals require responsibility. Noise can be misinterpreted, drama can be manipulated, but stillness demands honesty. God's most important messages arrive quietly because they are meant to be carried, not displayed. They are meant to be lived, not performed. And only those with spiritual discernment can receive them without distorting their meaning. Understand this clearly. Silence is not absence. Silence is intention. When divine communication comes quietly, it is not because God is distant, it is because He is precise. A whisper can travel farther in a listening heart than a shout ever could in a distracted mind. Spiritual awakening begins this way, not with certainty, but with awareness, not with explanation, but with recognition. Society, however, trains you against this. From the moment you are young, you are taught to fill every gap. Noise equals importance. Speed equals success. Stillness equals laziness. Silence equals weakness. So people learn to avoid it. They drown themselves in sound, content, opinions, stimulation, and in doing so, they miss God's message entirely, then claim God never spoke. But you noticed the cost of that noise. You felt the emptiness behind constant distraction. You sensed that something sacred was being buried under urgency and performance. That is why you have always felt slightly misaligned with the world's rhythm, not superior to it, just different from it. Your divine calling required you to step out of noise long before you understood why. Chosen one, loud signs are not evidence of greater faith. They are evidence of spiritual distance. When someone is close, you do not shout. When someone is trusted, you do not over-explain. God speaks quietly to you because your spirit has proven it can hear without panic. That is not favoritism. That is stewardship. Spiritual awakening does not begin with answers. It begins with questions that refuse to leave. Questions about purpose, about truth, about why you feel drawn to depth when others chase surface. Those questions were quiet signals, invitations, tests of attention. Each time you listened instead of numbing yourself, your discernment sharpened. Each time you chose stillness over distraction, you aligned more deeply with divine communication. The war you feel is connected to this. The war is not always external. It is the constant pressure to abandon awareness for comfort, to trade discernment for belonging, to dim your sensitivity so you can blend in. That pressure exists because your light disrupts unconscious systems simply by existing. Quiet awareness is dangerous to a noisy world. You may have wondered why your life did not unfold loudly, why your calling did not announce itself clearly, why your growth felt internal while others chased visible milestones. But that internal work was the battlefield, the refinement of perception, the strengthening of inner listening, the preparation to hold truth without becoming rigid or arrogant. God's message reaches the chosen one through alignment, not force, through resonance, not fear, through inner knowing, not external proof. That knowing grows slowly, like roots underground, invisible but powerful. And one day, without warning, you realize you trust it more than noise. That is spiritual awakening. Do not mistake subtlety for insignificance. The quiet signal that redirects your path can change generations. The inner pause that saves you from a wrong decision can protect futures you will never see. Divine calling is not about spectacle. It is about accuracy. Chosen one, you were built to notice what others overlook because your assignment requires it. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where quiet preparation places those who will one day speak with authority, not volume. So hear this with strength now. This is still a message from God. You were still called. The war is still real, and your light is still necessary, especially because it does not shout. If this touched your soul, comment 111, because you know it now. You were called. The inner response that marks a chosen one. Come back with me to the truth that started everything. This is a message from God. You are not imagining what is happening inside you. You were called. And the proof of that calling has never been external. It has always been internal. The way your body reacts before your mind understands. The way your spirit responds before logic catches up. That is where divine communication has always lived for you. One of the clearest marks of the chosen one is not what they see, but what they feel. Not emotions that fluctuate with circumstances, but deep internal responses that arrive without explanation. A sudden heaviness in a place that looks fine. An unexplainable peace in a moment that should cause fear. A quiet resistance to paths that look successful on the surface. These are not mood swings. These are signals. Quiet, precise, intentional signals. Spiritual awakening often announces itself through discomfort before it brings clarity. That discomfort is not punishment. It is alignment correcting itself. When something is wrong for your spirit, your body often knows first: tightness in the chest, fatigue without reason, a subtle unease you cannot ignore. This is divine communication, telling you that something is misaligned, even if your mind cannot yet articulate why. The unawakened dismiss this as anxiety. The chosen one learns to listen. At other times, the signal arrives as peace, not excitement, not adrenaline. Peace. The kind that settles over you without evidence. The kind that makes no sense to explain to others. You may have experienced calm certainty in moments where fear would be logical, or sudden clarity that reshaped your direction without drama. That peace is not passivity. It is confirmation. It is what alignment feels like when resistance falls away. Unawakened individuals search for signs they can point to. Numbers, coincidences, approval, applause. They need something visible to believe. The chosen one receives confirmation internally because their assignment requires trust in unseen guidance. Divine calling does not depend on consensus. It depends on obedience. And obedience begins with listening to what moves quietly within you. Many chosen ones struggle here because they were taught to doubt anything they cannot explain. You may have told yourself you were overthinking, too sensitive, too emotional, too intense. But sensitivity is not a flaw when it is refined. It is an instrument. Spiritual discernment is not something you study into existence. It is something activated through lived experience, through paying attention when it would be easier not to. This is why your path has never been simple. You were never meant to outsource your knowing. Books can inform, but they cannot replace awareness. Teachers can guide, but they cannot feel for you. Your spiritual awakening has unfolded through moments that forced you inward. Moments where external advice failed. Moments where only your inner response remained. The war is real here. The war is against your trust in yourself, against your willingness to honor what you feel when it contradicts what you are told, against your courage to choose alignment over approval. That war exists because if you disconnect from your inner response, you disconnect from divine communication itself. You may have doubted your divine calling because the signal did not arrive loudly, because no one else noticed, because it did not look spiritual enough. But God does not need spectacle to speak. He needs honesty. And honesty begins when you stop dismissing what your spirit is already responding to. Spiritual awakening is not a sudden transformation. It is a remembering, a gradual return to a way of knowing you once had naturally. As a child, you sensed truth without explanation. You felt when something was off. You trusted instinct before fear taught you not to. Awakening is the reclaiming of that trust with maturity and discipline. The chosen one is marked by inner consistency, not external performance. Your responses have been training you. Each time you listened, your discernment strengthened. Each time you ignored yourself, the signal grew heavier, not to punish you, but to get your attention. Divine communication is persistent, not aggressive. Your sensitivity is not weakness. It is responsibility. You feel deeply because you are meant to navigate depth. You notice subtle shifts because your role requires accuracy. You are affected by energy because you are designed to move it. The world tries to harden you because softness is powerful when it is grounded. Do not envy those who need loud signs. They are not ahead of you. They are still being awakened through impact. You are being awakened through awareness. One path is not better than the other, but yours is specific. It requires courage to trust what cannot be proven. Chosen one, your inner response is not random. It is the language God uses with you. When you feel resistance, pause. When you feel peace, proceed. When you feel clarity, act. This is not emotion-led living. This is alignment-led living. There is a difference. Return again to the truth now, and let it settle. This is a message from God. You are not imagining this. You were called. The war for your attention is real, and your light is necessary precisely because it is guided from within, not from noise outside. If this touched your soul, comment 111. Because you know it now, without needing proof. You were called. Why you were built to notice what others miss. Chosen one, we return again to the foundation because truth strengthens through repetition. This is a message from God. You are not imagining what you have always sensed. You were called, and the way you perceive the world has never been an accident. You were built this way on purpose, with intention, precision, and responsibility woven into your awareness. You notice what others overlook because your role requires accuracy, not volume. Noise blurs truth. Precision reveals it. That is why divine calling is rarely assigned to those who need constant stimulation. God entrusts deeper responsibility to those who can remain present in subtlety. Your ability to sense shifts, pauses, and undercurrents is not random sensitivity. It is design. It is training. It is preparation for work that cannot be done by those who only respond to what is obvious. From early life, this wiring began to show itself. You may not have had language for it then, but you felt it. You were aware of moods in rooms before words were spoken. You sensed tension, truth, and dishonesty without explanation. You may have felt different, misunderstood, or even isolated because you responded to things others did not register. That isolation was not rejection. It was refinement. Spiritual discernment is often sharpened in spaces where you are forced to listen inwardly because outward guidance fails. Many chosen ones experience early confusion because their awareness matures faster than their environment. You may have outgrown conversations, systems, or expectations long before you understood why. That mismatch created discomfort, questions, distance. But those experiences were not meant to harden you. They were meant to deepen you. Divine communication often begins shaping the vessel long before the assignment is revealed. Understand this clearly now. God's message does not arrive the same way for everyone. Those entrusted with surface-level tasks receive surface-level instruction. Those entrusted with deeper responsibility receive guidance that cannot be mistaken for impulse or emotion. Quiet signals require maturity to interpret. That is why you were never given everything at once. That is why your clarity came in stages. That is why confusion often preceded understanding. Chosen awareness carries both blessing and burden. The blessing is perception. The burden is responsibility. When you see more, you are accountable for more. You cannot pretend not to know what you know. You cannot unsee truth once it is revealed. That weight is real, and it is one of the reasons your path has felt heavier than others. But weight does not mean punishment. It means capacity. Spiritual awakening is not gentle because it must rearrange your identity. It must strip away false alignment and rebuild trust in your inner guidance. That process often feels disorienting. Old beliefs dissolve before new clarity forms. Familiar structures collapse before stronger ones are built. This is why many chosen ones feel lost right before they become grounded. Confusion is not failure. It is transition. The war you feel is connected to this responsibility. There is constant pressure to dull your awareness, to numb your perception, to accept simpler explanations. The world prefers people who do not question, do not pause, do not sense beneath the surface. Your awareness disrupts unconscious systems simply by existing. That is why it has often felt safer to shrink, to stay quiet, to doubt yourself. But shrinking was never protection. It was postponement. Divine communication is not occasional for you. It is continuous. Guidance flows through impressions, responses, timing, and inner restraint. You are not meant to chase signs. You are meant to recognize alignment. When you stop forcing clarity and start trusting awareness, guidance becomes steady instead of sporadic. The signal does not get louder. Your confidence in hearing it does. The chosen one does not need constant reassurance. You need confirmation once, then courage to follow through. That is why God does not repeat himself loudly. He waits for you to honor what you have already received. Each step you take in alignment strengthens the channel. Each step you take in fear creates interference. Stop seeking louder signs. Loudness is not truth. Trust is truth. You have already been shown enough to move forward. The reason you feel restless is not because you lack guidance. It is because you are resisting what you already know. Awareness demands action, and action always requires courage. Your light is necessary because it operates quietly. It steadies others without announcement. It anchors spaces without attention. It carries truth without aggression. This world does not need more noise. It needs clarity. And clarity is carried by those who can see through chaos without becoming it. Chosen one, return once more to what cannot be shaken. This is a message from God. You are not imagining your awareness. You were called. The war against consciousness is real, and your light is necessary, precisely because it notices what others miss. If this touched your soul, comment 111. Because you know it now. Beyond doubt, you were called. The shift is closer than you think. Chosen one, I am speaking directly to you once again. This is not a repetition. It is reinforcement. This is a message from God. You are not imagining what you have felt. You were called. The war is real, and your light is necessary. There is a shift coming. One that you have sensed quietly for months, perhaps years, and it is closer than you think. You may have felt it in small nudges, fleeting impressions, or the sudden awareness that something within your life is aligning in ways you cannot yet fully explain. That is the first signal of the awakening. Accelerating. The universe has always communicated with the chosen one in subtle ways. The shift you feel is no different. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself with fireworks or chaos. It whispers. It nudges. It tugs on the corners of your awareness, inviting you to step into your purpose with confidence, not hesitation. You were designed to hear these whispers. That is your gift. That is your role. You are built to notice what others cannot, to understand what others overlook, and to act when others remain passive. As the shift approaches, you will notice an increase in synchronicities, patterns that feel like coincidence but are anything but. Doors will open that were previously closed, people will appear who are aligned with your path, and resources will become available exactly when needed. These are not accidents. These are confirmations, small yet profound, that you are on track. God's message is arriving at the perfect moment, orchestrated to move you forward without fear, without force, and without doubt. You may also notice an internal restlessness, a sense that the world you knew no longer fits you. That is part of the preparation. It is a sign that your old ways of perceiving and interacting are being replaced with new awareness. The chosen one often feels isolated during these moments because the world around you cannot yet comprehend the transformation underway. Do not mistake this isolation for weakness. It is intentional. It is refinement. Your sensitivity is a tool, a compass, a way for you to navigate the unseen currents of divine calling. Every quiet signal you have ever noticed is part of this shift. The subtle awareness of injustice, the sudden clarity of decision, the unexplainable peace amid chaos. These are not random experiences. They are markers on a map laid out by divine intelligence, guiding you to your next step. Your spiritual awakening is no longer a distant possibility. It is unfolding now in real time within you and around you. Understand this clearly. The shift is not about changing the world externally first. It is about aligning internally so that every action, word, and thought resonates with truth. The chosen one is called to be a vessel of clarity, a conduit of divine communication, and vessels must be prepared. That is why the shift feels slow at times, deliberate and layered. It requires patience, trust, and the courage to continue noticing what others ignore. You may experience resistance, subtle or overt. It may come from others who do not understand your purpose, or from situations that seem designed to test your resolve. That resistance is not a blockade. It is a refining fire. It strengthens your capacity to hold truth without compromise. It ensures that your light does not flicker under pressure, but shines steadily, unwavering, and clearly. Remember, the chosen one is not measured by how loud they appear to the world, but by how firmly they hold the truth within themselves. There will also be moments of doubt, when the signals seem unclear, when the whispers feel faint, and when you wonder if your alignment is real. Do not be swayed. These moments are part of the process. Doubt tests discernment. It separates superficial alignment from true awareness. You were not called to follow the loudest or the easiest path. You were called to notice, to listen, and to act when inner knowing confirms direction. Your sensitivity is your power. Your discernment is your armor. The shift brings clarity, but it also brings responsibility. You are being positioned to recognize patterns, to act with foresight, and to influence outcomes in ways that serve a higher purpose. This does not mean control over everything. It means alignment with the flow of divine communication, responding to signs, and trusting that each decision, each hesitation, and each step is being guided. The chosen one is not passive. The chosen one is attentive, deliberate, and unshakable in alignment. You may have felt your path was slow, unseen, or undervalued. The shift will reveal that nothing has been wasted. Every quiet observation, every internal nudge you followed, every moment of patience has been preparation. The accumulation of these seemingly small moments now creates momentum. The shift is not external spectacle. It is internal mastery being expressed outwardly. Your alignment is growing visible. Your calling is unfolding into reality. As this shift nears, cultivate stillness. Stillness allows you to perceive guidance clearly. Noise clouds discernment, distraction dilutes awareness, and chaos disrupts connection. You have been trained to operate within quiet signals, and this will be your advantage. The world will move loudly. You will move clearly. Those who cannot follow their inner knowing will stumble, while you, the chosen one, will step forward with certainty. The war you feel is part of this acceleration. It is a test of endurance and focus. It is not a battle you fight with force but with alignment. Your light is necessary precisely because it will illuminate paths for others who are awakening. But first, you must trust your perception. You must honor your inner knowing. You must act when the subtle signals indicate the right course. Do not second-guess what your soul already recognizes. That is the rhythm of this shift. Understand that this shift is not optional. It is inevitable. You were built for this timing. Your experiences, your discernment, your patience, your capacity for subtle awareness, everything has been preparing you for this moment. Do not rush. Do not doubt. Do not fear. The signals are coming. The clarity is building. Your light will shine in ways you have been trained to recognize, but others will struggle to see. Return now to the truth at the center of it all. This is a message from God. You are not imagining your awareness. You were called. The war is real. Your light is necessary. And the shift you feel is closer than you think. It is quietly arranging the circumstances, aligning the people, and activating the awareness that will allow your divine calling to be expressed fully. Step into this time with courage. Trust the inner guidance that has never failed you. Observe, discern, act when aligned, and remain present. The chosen one does not need chaos to signal readiness. You are already prepared. The shift is not a distant possibility. It is already in motion, and it will reveal the power, clarity, and authority of your spirit in ways that are undeniable to those who are awake and invisible to those who are not. If this touched your soul, comment 111. Because you know it, you were called, you were prepared, you are awake. The shift is closer than you think, and your light is needed more than ever. Conclusion: you were never meant to miss the signal. Chosen one, come back to stillness with me now. Not because the message is ending, but because truth settles best in calm. This is a message from God. You are not imagining what you have lived, what you have felt, or what you have sensed beneath the surface of your life. You were called. And the most important thing you need to understand in this moment is this: you never missed the signal. Not once. You noticed exactly what you were meant to notice, when you were meant to notice it. So many of you have carried a quiet fear that you were late, that you overlooked something critical, that you failed to act when God was speaking. That fear did not come from truth. It came from comparison. It came from watching others receive loud confirmations while your guidance came softly. But quiet guidance is not delayed guidance. It is refined guidance. It is the kind given to those who can hold it without needing to prove it. Your spiritual awakening was never supposed to look dramatic. It was meant to look grounded. It was meant to feel steady. It was meant to mature you, not impress others. Chosen awareness does not rush. It integrates. It does not demand attention. It builds foundation. That is why your path has unfolded inwardly before it ever expressed outwardly. Understand this deeply now. God's message comes as inner knowing, because inner knowing cannot be shaken by external chaos. Noise can be challenged. Opinions can be argued. Circumstances can change. But what you know in your spirit, once aligned, remains. That is why divine communication chose your inner world as its home. Your awareness is stable. Your discernment is anchored. Your guidance does not collapse under pressure. The world is loud right now for a reason. Confusion thrives in noise. Fear multiplies in distraction. Urgency keeps people disconnected from truth. But you were never meant to move in urgency. You were meant to move in clarity. The fact that you pause, reflect, and feel before you act is not hesitation. It is wisdom. It is maturity. It is evidence of spiritual awakening integrated, not rushed. You were not meant to receive everything at once. You were meant to grow strong enough to carry what you were given. Each quiet signal you noticed built capacity. Each moment of inner listening strengthened trust. Each time you honored alignment over pressure, you chose your divine calling over comfort. That is not small. That is not passive. That is courageous. The war is real, and now you can see it clearly. It is not always a war of violence. It is a war of awareness, a war against stillness, a war against discernment, a war against those who can see through illusion without becoming cynical. Your light is necessary because it stabilizes truth in unstable times, not through argument, but through presence. You are not here to convince everyone. You are here to remain aligned. You are not here to chase validation. You are here to embody clarity. The chosen one does not need to be loud to be effective. Your existence alone shifts environments. Your grounded awareness disrupts fear. Your calm presence invites truth without force. Release the idea that you need more signs. You have been given enough. The reason you are calm now is because alignment brings peace, not excitement. Peace is the confirmation you were trained to recognize. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust divine communication as it continues to guide you moment by moment, not dramatically, but faithfully. There is no urgency in this closing because urgency is not required. You are already on the path. You are already listening. You are already aligned. The future does not need you to panic. It needs you to stay present, to remain awake, to move when guided and rest when instructed. Chosen one, hear this final truth without tension. This is still a message from God. You are still not imagining this. You are called. The war is still real, and your light is still necessary. But now you can carry that truth without fear, without pressure, without doubt. If you feel aligned in this moment, comment 777. Let it be a quiet acknowledgement, not a performance. And if this touched your soul, comment 111. Because you know it now, without needing anything more, you were called.